What's up everybody, Matt Maran here for another car review. This is of course the 2018 Ford Mustang GT. Huge thanks to Ford for providing me with this very sweet lightning blue Mustang GT to review for you guys today.
Also, huge thanks to the Automotive Video Association for arranging this car and 8 others for the first ever AVA Spring event. The event brought 6 of the best car reviewers in video and myself together to film several iconic cars and some of the top luxury SUVs.
So about the Mustang GT, well, it's been totally refreshed here for 2018, and it's a large refresh. There's so much new stuff, and as an owner of a 2016 Mustang GT, I can pick up on a lot of the changes a lot easier than even some others. So first thing, right up front, you can tell are these headlamps, which are completely all new here, have you know, the accent lighting that now has the angles in them there, and is a really nice you know, refresh of the headlights. That you know, at first, whenever I first saw this front end, I wasn't crazy about it, but over the past year, it's really grown on me, and now I absolutely love it and actually prefer it over the 15 to 17s. And then over there in the lower part of the front bumper, you see the new relocated fog lamps, the LED turn signals, which are a nice improvement over the other ones they had in the past. This one also has the black accent package, so you have the blacked out pony emblem there. The only thing I can critique about the front end is I wish that they had made the lower half of the grille glossy black to match the upper half, because it looks a little mismatched, but that's the only thing I can complain about. Otherwise, it looks really sharp up front there. And then coming up to the hood here, it's all new of course as well. You have new hood vents that are a little bit lower inset into the hood there, and kind of remind me of the 67 and 68 hoods with the way they have those streaks in them. And they've also lowered the hood a little bit over the 15 to 17, so you have this new line that runs on the edges of the hood here, and you can really see the extra dimensions that you have going on with this new hood, and overall it looks really awesome in person. Coming down to the sides, now this one again having the black accent package, has these 19-inch wheels that do look really nice here, and you just have the 255 wide tires since this doesn't have the performance package, blacked out 5.0 badge. Going out to the back there, you have some other nice changes. You have those new tail lamps, which also have the angled concavity type of look to them there. It gives them a little more complexity over the regular, you know, straight bars that you had on the 15s to 17s. And you also have a new little accent line running through the middle of the deck lid panel there. And you have quad exhaust tips as standard now here on the GTs, and they look really good. Now this one has the active exhaust as well, which means you get 4 modes to vary the volume of that exhaust as well. But they look really nice there, having the quad exhaust on the GT here. And so overall, it's a really nice look in the back. This one also has the spoiler delete, so you get the beautiful lines of that trunk lid that I really, really love even without a spoiler. And so overall, it's a really great looking car, and especially in lightning blue. This color pops regardless of the lighting situation. You know, if it's cloudy, it still pops. If it's sunny, it really pops. It just looks really awesome. I absolutely love this color.
Right, for the interior of the 2018 Mustang GT, well, this one is really nicely loaded up. This has the 401A package, which gives you the digital gauge cluster and a lot of nicer trim. But first thing, sitting down in these seats. Now, these are the midnight blue seats. They're mostly black, but they do have the blue stitching, and you can see the blue in the perforation, and it's a really cool look, especially obviously combined with the blue exterior. It really kind of ties everything together nicely. And these are the standard seats. You can still get Recaro seats, but then you lose the heating, cooling, and memory functions and power functions on those seats if you go for the Recaros, and they're like, I think, $1,600. These regular seats I think are fantastic, just the way they come. You know, you have pretty nice torso support, really beefy bolstering, and also the thigh support is really nice and good as well. And these are very comfortable seats. Again, I've owned 3 Mustangs of this generation, all with these seats, and they are phenomenal seats. I absolutely love them. Next to the steering wheel in the 2018 Mustang GT, which is really nice and a little bit thicker here, has some nicer feeling leather as well now for 2018, but yeah, just a little bit of a thicker grip, which I actually really like. They did reconfigure the buttons as well, so now you have the audio controls here on the left hand side, and then you have the little navigation for the gauge cluster on the right hand side. You also do have this new pony button here, as well as a button for navigation since this one has that, and then the adaptive cruise stuff on the left hand side since this one has the safe and smart package with the adaptive cruise as well. So there's a decent amount of buttons on this steering wheel. You know, it's maybe a little bit more than some others out there, but overall it's not too overwhelming, and it's pretty easy to get used to. They're all kind of logically arranged, and yeah, it's just a really nice looking and great feeling wheel. You do also have little paddle shifters here on the back, since this is the automatic, and you know, they're plastic and not super cool looking or anything, but they get the job done, and so overall just a really great steering wheel. Next to the gauges here in the 2018 Mustang, and man, these new digital gauges are so cool looking. I absolutely love them. So it's part of the Premium Plus package, which gives you the nicer stitching and stuff. And it's definitely worth it just for the gauge cluster alone. It's really, really cool. I mean, I am a traditionalist. I like the standard analog gauges you get in the regular Mustangs still, but I really love this. Just the configurability of this cluster is really cool. So as you can see, you still have the basic setup of talk on the left, this speedometer on the right, all digital, and you can customize just about everything with this cluster. First off, you can customize the look of it. So you can have it tied to the driving modes. You have Sport Plus mode, which has the tachometer go across the top there, or you can have track mode, which just has it as a bar style tachometer, and then the speedometer kind of lower without any circular portion. And so you can custom tailor that to the drive mode, or you can just lock it into whatever view you like, regardless of driving mode if you want. And so that's cool. And then you can go hit the pony button, and that'll bring up all the different things. You can show all the different type of gauges you want. You can display those. You have your selector for the active exhaust if it's equipped like this one is, and you have all kinds of stuff. You can configure the My Color, so you can configure the different colors for this gauge cluster. You can change the color of the rings. You can change the color of the highlights, for the fuel and the shadowing and things like that. You can also make your own colors within My Color, so customizable there with all of that. You do also have your basic trip information. I really like the little bar you have up top there, which now will display a compass, the ambient temperature, and also your audio track, which is really cool because if you're running like Apple CarPlay, for example, and you have only the map up on the center screen, previously you had to go out back into the Ford Sync system in order to see like the ambient temperature and things like that. So to have all that built right into the gauge cluster there is really handy, so you don't have to fumble around quite as much here with the Sync 3. And they're just really cool looking gauges, and I absolutely love just about everything about them. Coming over to the center of the dashboard here, first off, I noticed this trim is new. So usually in the premium trims in the past, you got like an aluminum finish. Now you have this textured finish. It looks pretty cool, a little bit darker, yeah, it's just a different look, and I like that. And that changes also depending on what trim level you get and things like that. You'll also see more of that midnight blue stitching here, again, because we're in the 401A package, and it's really nice and softly padded here for the top part of the dashboard there. Anyway, coming down to the Sync 3 system, it's an 8-inch display, really, really nice. The Sync 3 is one of the best. It's so easy to use, just nice big buttons for the different things you want to go to. Everything is very easy to navigate. Thankfully, you have a volume and tune knob, so changing radio stations is as easy as spinning this very nice feeling metal knob, and it's that easy. Everything else is nicely set up. Apple CarPlay is within easy access, and will come up whenever you have your phone plugged in, automatically if you want it. And the navigation maps are all pretty nice, and you can customize that. And like I said, you do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is really great to have there built into the system. And so overall, yeah, it might not be the largest of screens, but I think it's plenty large, just as large as all the competitors out there, really. And just a really nice infotainment system. And then coming down, you have your volume and tune knobs, which, like I said, is really nice metal, feel great. Then you have your automatic climate controls here, in any premium and up, trim levels. And so those are really nice. I really love, again, the little bit of metal finishes you have here around the plastic buttons. And so nicely set up there. And then I still love this little row of rocker switches you get, as well as what is now a metal engine stop start button. It used to just be plastic, so now it's metal. And it also, I think, it will flash red here. It's kind of bright, but in the dark you can see it'll flash, I think, to the Mustang heartbeat, whatever that rate is. And so I'm pretty sure that's what I remember reading about. And so anyway, you have these switches here for hazards, traction control off, your steering mode. You can customize the lightness or heaviness of the steering, and then your driving mode selector. And so overall, just a few buttons, really nice and simplified, and so it makes for a really clean looking interior. As far as storage space in the Mustangs, they've always been really good here for this S550 generation. So anyway, first things first, in the door pocket here, you have, a nice little spot for, maps and things like that. It does go very far back there, but, you could fit probably a thin bottle in there, but it's not actually cut out, to accommodate, a normal typical bottle holder type shape, but still a good amount of space there in the doors. Coming over to the center here, you have a little slot that you could stand up a phone or something like that, but that's about it. You could also fit, your keys in here. here, other small things like that. You'll see also a USB jack and also a power outlet right up front here, which is really convenient. If you run dash cams or radar detectors, things like that, to have that right there is nice. Then coming back, you have your two cup holders, which have a little bit of ambient lighting there at the bottom of them and are very nice. And then coming back, you have the center armrest, which is actually softer than it was in the 15 to 17s. Has a really nice amount of squishiness to it, really great for resting your elbow on here. And anyway, you open that up, and then you have a pretty good sized cubby space here. I mean, it's not as large as what you get in some mainstream vehicles, but for a sporty vehicle, that's a good amount of space, larger than when you get in Camaros and things like that. You also find a USB jack and a power outlet in there, and you also have a little coin holder, and so a really good amount of space in there. A couple other things I got to add though about this 401A package now is you get more of this blue stitching down by your knee area here, which is really great, and it's actually a little bit of a higher quality material. This all around by the cup holders and stuff used to be really hard plastic, and it now has a little bit of give to it and just feels a little more premium feeling here, and the stitching really makes it look a lot nicer. And then this is actually a lot more soft down here by your actual knee, so if you're resting your knees down there, it's just really great and goes all the way down the transmission tunnel area here. And so overall, it just makes this interior feel a little more premium than before. Backseat space in the Mustang GT. Now, like most coupes, it's definitely on the tight side, especially here in the Mustang with the fastback roofline you have here on these newer ones. It's definitely tight. I'm 5'9". Me sitting behind myself, I fit, but my knees are right up against the seat back there, and my head is resting right up against that glass. So I probably want to hunch over a little bit to be more comfortable so my head isn't right up against the glass all the time. So it's definitely tight. Anyone under 5'9" should fit just fine, or if you have, a shorter driver than someone that's 5'9", then you'll have a little more space to work with in the back there. But overall, it's definitely usable in a pinch. That's what I use mine for. I don't use it on a regular basis, but whenever I need to carry more than one other person with me, it's nice to have a back seat, and it does work for those purposes. Trunk space in the Mustang is actually pretty good, so it's not quite as large as the Challenger or something like that, but it's still, for a coupe, it's a pretty nice large trunk, it goes really far back there, has nice little cutouts, although one of the cutouts there on the passenger side is taken up by the Shaker Pro subwoofer that this one has, which is another upgrade, but well worth it. It's a really nice subwoofer there. And then if you lift up the floor, you'll see a spare tire, which is an option. Otherwise, you just have, kind of a fix-a-flat kit there, and that would give you a little bit of additional storage down there, but overall, a really good amount of space. All right, so start them, go for a drive. The 2018 Mustangs get the new Ford key. Still has the nice Mustang emblem in it here. It's definitely a heftier, bigger key than before. It's not quite as light or as slim as the previous ones, but still a very nice key. You have some metal buttons there on the back, which is new. And overall, yeah, a very nice key, although I still wish it was a little smaller, but still a great key nonetheless. And of course, it's keyless entry and push-button start. So you just leave the key in your pocket, hit the engine start button, and it roars to life. So setting off in the 2018 Mustang GT. I've been dying to drive one of these for months and months and months. So anyway, first thing you notice here, there's so many things. First, the turn signal sound is a lot higher quality sounding than before. Another thing that I forgot to mention in the interior portion, the headrests are so much softer than the 15 to 17s. Just noticed that as well. Other things here, the hood has now been lowered for 2018, so you actually do have better visibility forward. You used to have these bigger spears that would kind of cut down the middle of the hood. You don't have those anymore, and so it's a little flatter looking, so you have a better view forward. It's not drastically changed, but it is definitely a little bit easier to look forward than it was before. View out of the sides is unchanged and still pretty good, for a coupe like this. And view out of the back is really great. And also, you have a frameless rearview mirror now, which is a nice new addition for 2018. But a very good view out of the back too. Another really nice thing is this active exhaust system, which, as you heard from the revs, sounds really, really good in all its different settings. But I think even in normal mode, it's definitely louder than my 2016 GT with its stock exhaust. So I think quiet mode is more closely, sounds more close to what you get in a 15 to 17 that's stock. And so normal mode already is a nice, healthy improvement over what you got before. And then sport and track just turn it up even more so. All right, so we're gonna put the transmission into sport. We're gonna put this up into sport mode, and let's turn down onto this the straight road and see how it does. Here we go. All right, it wanted to start me in second. Now it takes off. Man, this is awesome. this has the new 5-liter engine that is actually slightly higher in displacement. So now it's actually slightly over 5 liters, and it's now port and direct injected. So the port stays so that it's, you know, more reliable. It helps clean out that carbon, but the direct injection gives you the better performance. Oh, it sounds so good. Listen to that. You also have a higher red line now because of that 7,400 RPMs. So a nice jump over the 7,000 RPMs you had before. Oh, and it just sounds so good. Oh, and in sport mode here, this transmission is more than happy to give you those higher RPMs and stay there. They're nice and quick shifts. Once it figured out I didn't want to start in second gear, it's really, really sweet. But yeah, it's ooh, this is fun. This is so it's a good amount of power. 460 horsepower. I'm sorry, I'm like really frazzled. This is really exciting for me. 460 horsepower, 420 pound-feet of torque now. So a nice bump of 25 horsepower, 20 pound-feet of torque over the 15 to 17s. And I certainly felt it. I think the little switch up from first to second kind of threw me off a little bit there, and made it feel not quite as fast. But it still definitely feels like it has a lot more punch than it did before. But we'll of course try that out several more times. But in the meantime, as we're stuck behind traffic, let's try out this 10-speed automatic transmission. It was co-developed with GM and Ford, and so it really likes to, even in sport mode here, I'm cruising at 6th gear at 2,000 RPMs at 39 miles an hour. So it really will try and go up to those higher gears to give you the better fuel economy here. And there is no dedicated manual mode. There's a sport mode on the shifter, but there is no way to lock it into a manual mode. But you just start playing with the paddles, and then it has these little paddle shifter icons that come up that show that it is staying in the manual mode for you there. And so you can see I hit the paddle and then it reacts. So it's a little bit delayed. You can hear the click of the paddle and when it actually changes gear. It's not immediate. So anyone hoping that this 10-speed was going to feel like it's some kind of dual clutch or some type of ZF automatic, it's not that good. It certainly is way better than the 6-speed automatic that the GTs have had in the past. And it's an improvement for sure. And if you leave it in automatic mode, let it do its thing, that's how you get the fastest 0 to 60 performing Mustang GT. With the performance package, which this doesn't have, but if you had the performance package and the automatic and Magna Ride and you had it in drag mode, you can get 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds, Ford claims. I could probably believe it. Now this one had a little bit more wheel spin too. It's really running the black package wheels, which are 255s all around front and rear. Try some more downshifts. Yeah, it's definitely a delayed, but and a little jerky. Oh, it sounds good though. I just wish these paddles were more reactive though. They're just not. I mean, it kind of holds me back a little bit where I pull and I want to gear, and then it goes. Downshifts aren't bad. I think they're starting to get a little bit better feeling. So it's enough of a lag to make you feel a little disconnected. That's the only thing that I can say. I mean, for the few times you actually are using the paddle shifters and really we're trying to get into it, I think it'll be fine for those that, want to just manually shift every once in a while and don't want to, put in the commitment of an actual manual transmission. This is certainly the best automatic they've ever had in a Mustang. But it's still, it still seems a little confused by what I want to do. And it'll want to upshift a little quicker than I want it to. It'll, it seems a little confused, this 10-speed automatic. It just keeps distracting me from what is an otherwise fantastic driving experience. I still firmly recommend you go for the manual. The manual is fantastic. It has also been improved a little bit for 2018. Other things though, getting off of this transmission, the handling is still really good. Now I'm in, a non-performance pack model, so I have all-season Pirellis on here, which don't have tons of grip, and the suspension isn't quite as sporty as what you get in the performance package version, but it still does feel really buttoned down. They actually did improve the standard suspension here, and so the standard suspension actually shares, I think, a couple of parts with the old performance pack suspension, but I really like the way this feels, because it feels like it has a little less lean and it feels a little more direct than my 2016 but it's not so stiff like the Performance Pack can be. Some people have said it's a little too stiff. I have not experienced the new Performance Pack, so I cannot say, but you know, I will say that this is really nice and smooth, and even though these roads are a little bit rougher and not super nicely paved, you know, there's not a lot of road noise. It's very smooth. I'm not, you know, getting jarred by any of the bumps or anything. It feels really good, and honestly, for a daily driven Mustang, I think this is enough handling performance. Personally, you know, maybe it could use some slightly grippier tires, but aside from that, I think, you know, this is pretty well set up, even just the way it is. The performance package keeps getting more and more expensive too. It's a $4,000 upcharge before you add MagneRide, which is another $1,600. You also get Brembos and lots of other things with the performance pack. It's not just the suspension setup for that price, but it's just a lot of money. You know, it's a big jump, you know, for all that stuff. And I think that just, you know, sticking with the standard suspension, there's nothing wrong with that. It still is a really good handling machine. A couple other things to note. I also want to mention the weight. So the curb weight for these, depending on how you configure the GT, it's anywhere between 3,700 and 3,850 for the weight, which isn't bad. You know, it's definitely way lighter than Challengers and things like that. Right in line with what you see with the Camaro. Other things, though, as we're going around some more corners here, the steering weight is really nice. In normal mode here, I feel like it might have a little more resistance than the normal mode in the 15 to 17s, but it feels really good still. Also, you can of course change that, and you can make it lighter or heavier here with the steering modes if you'd like. Other things here, throttle response is really nice and sharp, just like it always has been in the Mustangs. You know, it's just got a little bit of tip in, and then it immediately responds to your inputs. Brakes also really bite right at the top of the pedal here. It's actually a lot grabbier than even my current Mustang. So this might just be because this one's, you know, pretty new, but this one actually does have almost 5,000 miles on it, and it's still, these brakes are really nice and responsive, and so they feel really good. Another thing, while we're behind some traffic here, that I noticed is these cold seats. Now, in the 15 to 17s, the seat bottom always got nice and cold, but the seat back was kind of hit or miss depending on what car you got. Mine, it never really got too cool for the back of the seat. Now on these ones, I think they fixed it for 2018 because the seat back is nice and cold whenever I run the cooled seats here, and also the seat bottom gets nice and cool as well. But yeah, this engine definitely feels stronger than in the you know, 15 to 17s for sure. It just seems to have more power everywhere. Here in the lower RPMs, there's more power. Higher RPMs, there's more power. It pulls to a higher RPM, so it screams even more in those upper RPMs. Just everything about the experience, it's just so much more intense. Let's do another acceleration, this time with the window down, just to get a little more of that sound. It sounds so good. There's no reason to do an aftermarket exhaust on a Mustang anymore. If you get this active exhaust, which is only like $895, by the way, total bargain for a 4-mode active exhaust with this much volume. Oh, it's so wonderful. Oh man, it's so hard to restrain myself. I just want to fly. God, it wants to go. I just can't do it. Stupid speed limits. Anyway, yes, this is it's so much fun. It's everything I had hoped this new motor would be. It is just so impressive, so much power. And you know, the more that I use this automatic, the more that I'm kind of learning it, and it's also learning me. That is one thing, you know, this is a press car, so many different people are driving it with so many different styles. Supposedly this 10-speed automatic does learn your driving habits and how you do your throttle inputs and things like that, and will kind of get customized to the way you drive and get better over time. And that's what I've, you know, read and heard. So, you know, I wouldn't be discouraged if you really do want the automatic. I think it will get better over time, because it is really snappy with its shifts in automatic mode. It's really, really impressive. And this whole car, though, is just so impressive. Oh, I love it. They just took what was already so amazing with the 15 to 17s and just made it even better here for the 18s. It is just... oh man, these things... I'm sorry, I'm just having a blast. But we'll just put this back into normal mode here. Kind of just chill out a little little bit and just see how this thing cruises in normal mode. And that's the great thing is, you know, whenever you do put it back in that normal mode, the transmission calms down and, you know, realizes you don't want to drive like your hair's on fire. And then I can go ahead and go to the exhaust mode here, put that back into normal, and then everything nicely quiets down. It's nice and sedate. And it's just very serene. And you can even go quieter if you want. I'm in normal mode. You can have it even more quiet if you want. Here, we'll go just for kicks, just to show you how quiet this can get. We'll go up to quiet mode for the exhaust. Still get a little burble, but I mean, if you had the radio on, you wouldn't even hear it. So you can have it as wild as you want or as quiet as you want. It's just, I love how they give you the choice. I love choice. I love just, you know, being able to customize and custom tailor the Mustang to exactly what you want it to be. It's always been a very customizable vehicle, right? You've always been able to, you know, it's had so much aftermarket support, and Ford has also been so great about giving so many options, and, you know, every year there's more and more customization, you know, with my color and with all these different things. It's just really just gets better and better each year. But another acceleration as we're merging onto the highway. Now we're in normal mode. I love when it goes over 7,000. It sounds so good over 7,000. That last 400 RPM is so wonderfully sweet. I'm in love, and I know I might be a little biased as a huge Mustang fan and owner of, you know, a GT already. But yeah, if I didn't have a Bullet on order, I would definitely spring for 2018 for sure. I think it's definitely worth the upgrade. Just all the extra tech you get, all the extra, you know, niceties of everything being softer and just a little more premium, better visibility, the better sound, all the customization, all these things. There's so many new things about the 2018s. Normally refreshes, it's like, oh, let's change the front bumper and do a couple little things and that's it. They went so far above and beyond with this new one. It's really cool. And a couple other things now we're cruising on the highway that are more apparent is this has the Safe and Smart package, which gives you the adaptive cruise. It also does lane keep assist. If it senses you going out of your lane a little bit, it will kind of give you a little nudge back into it and help you out with that if you want. But thankfully all that stuff can be turned off. I think the only thing that can't be totally turned off is the automatic emergency braking. I think you can just lessen the intensity of you know, its reactiveness, but other than that, everything can be turned off if you don't want it. But the adaptive cruise is a very nice feature to have whenever you're out, you know, on road trips and things like that. But yeah, overall, the improvements they've made to the 2018 Mustang there's just so many of them. It's so definitely worth upgrading from a 15 to 17. I think just if any of these things that I mentioned appeal to you, I think it's definitely worthwhile. And they didn't really increase the price too much. It's still very similar to the pricing of the 15 to 17s, and so you just get so much car. And I mean, yeah, you know, the stuff like the digital gauge cluster, you know, $2,200 with that premium package with all the nice stitching and everything. So you can get them, you know, a little more expensive, you know. But this one, even as it sits here, is only around 44 to 45,000 with the black package and stuff. Again, you can take some of the stuff off and get it even closer to 40. The premiums here start in the high 30,000s, and if you want a non-premium one, you can get one of those. You know, with the cloth seats, the basic gauges and stuff. Those are only still 35,000. You still get this fantastic engine, you still get the awesome looks, the awesome performance, and it's just, you know, the Mustang has always been an absolute bargain and a huge value for your money. You know, you just get so much for your money, and I think, you know, even though there are some of these fancier features now you can get, I think even with those, it's still a lot of cool features for the money, and so the Mustang just continues on with its awesome value. They just do a really good job with these. There's the reason why they're selling really well, and they're usually outselling all the other muscle cars for that reason, because it's just, you know, it's got great visibility, it's very easy to live with, plenty of places to put things, very comfortable, drives great, it's very exciting. I mean, it's the total package, yeah, so that's why I love them, and I think that anyone that enjoys this type of vehicle, you know, rear-wheel drive, lots of power, a little bit heavier, you know, I think you'll absolutely love if you ever drive one of these. So anyway, huge thanks once again to Ford for providing me with this very sweet 2018 Mustang GT to review for you guys today. Let me know your thoughts on the 2018 Mustang GT in the comments below. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.